So hi guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Uche, and of course you remember our dear guest ATM. Today we are going to do a continuation of question and answers on how you can migrate to Australia. So I will allow our guest to also introduce himself in case if you're new to my channel. So he will tell you a little bit about himself. Then we'll go back to the questions. So thank you for coming once again. Can you please tell us about you for people that doesn't or haven't seen the other video?
All right. Thank you so much, Uche. Thanks for having me again. My name is Ayotunde and popularly called ATM. I'll say most people don't even know my name, but most people know ATM.
Of course.
I've been in this migration space or skilled migration space for over 4 years. And since 2018, which is about 5 years now. I did the process myself. And in the process of that, I've helped thousands of people to move to Australia from all over the world, not just Nigerians only, but people from different countries as well, that I've been able to help to move to Australia. So, yeah, I think that's basically me. And happy to be back again to discuss more questions.
Okay, so I'm going to be leaving his email address in my description box. So if you want him to do your profile assessment, I will put his email address so you can contact him and you take it from there as well. So thank you so much. I have another question to ask you. Let's say that I have done my assessment and everything. How long does the process take from start to finish? If you can give us an estimate idea, and if I put in money, how guarantee is it that I am going to get Australian visa through this skilled migration visa that you have mentioned, or employer's visa?
Okay, so let me start with the second question. So if you have how guaranteed is this visa? So I would say I've only seen a refusal. I've only seen one refusal. Of course, after 2 years, the refusal was overturned because the person had to prove that whoever had do that case did not do a good job. But that was overturned. People usually don't get refusal. I've seen a couple of rejections as well, but it's going to be if your document is not correct, or if you lied and you are discovered. Sometimes they refuse your visa and they even ban you for a particular number of years. So if all the documents you are presenting is they're all accurate, your job is genuine, is not falsified, you don't have anything to worry about. So getting the visa, it's like 100%. Of course, we would say 99.9% that your job is guaranteed that you get it if you go through the normal process and you put in the right details. For example, you do not overclaim points. Like you did not say you were supposed to have claimed 10 points in your experience, but you claimed 15 points. That is falsification. So that will lead to they will reject the visa. Of course, sometimes they will even let you know that this is what we are doing. We're going to reject your visa. So sometimes people even withdraw it so that they don't get that rejection on the system and stuff like that. So so that is usually, so your visa is usually guaranteed. But there's also one other reason why people's visas can be rejected. If you have some medical conditions, or if you have kids that have some specific medical conditions, that is treated on a case-by-case basis. So there is no blanket issue. So there are some things, for example, I think the common one that people usually get worried about is HIV and hepatitis B or C. Sometimes people get to find out that they have some of these diseases when they're doing medicals for the program. So just to let you know, you have to do a medical examination when you get your invitation to apply for the visa. So you have to do a medical examination. So if you have disability and so they usually do like an analysis of whatever issue you have. So sometimes I advise my people or my client, I tell them, the moment you start this process, be careful with your health. Do a general test just to understand if you have any issues or not. If everything is clean, then be careful while you're running this process because you don't want to get to the end and you get your visa rejected based on medical grounds. So it's not really common that they will reject it. The only thing they need to do is to analyze your the medical issue. And for example, I'll give an example for HIV. I've known a few people that that have the virus and they still got in as well. And some of these things people don't talk about them because it's personal. But even if you have it, the only thing they will consider is your viral load. So sometimes they will delay it and wait for you to have a lower viral load before they give you the visa. So and sometimes if you know on time and you've been taking medication and stuff like that, your viral load would have been low by the time you apply for the visa. So you get your visa approved as well. So what they do is they consider the viral load, and there's a particular level that if your viral load is at that level, they would not approve your visa. So it's now up to you. They will decide, okay, do you want us to wait and pen your application, or do you want us to refuse it? So there are other options. They will give you options and stuff like that. So, and I think those are the major ones: falsification of documents, or they come for verification to verify you actually claim that you're an engineer, and they come to your office and they realize that you're the driver of the chief engineer. So they will look at it like, So if they verify, because they usually do verification as well, send people to your company. So that is possible. They pick some random application and they do verification. Sometimes you may not be verified, and sometimes you may be verified. So everything you put in has to be really verifiable. Yes, so those are the two major things: were medical, and if you provide any falsified document. Those are the two reasons why your visa may be rejected. But the medical part is easily resolved depending on whatever issue is. So that is case by case basis. So that can be sorted out. You just need to consult with people like us or some other people, and we can give you an idea on how to go about it, just to make your life easy. So it's not something to worry about if it's a medical issue. But if your document is falsified, I'm not involved with that. So the other question is, what is the estimate?
What it will cost, yeah.
Okay, so talking about the estimation of how long it's going to take, I get people like, oh, I want to leave now. Can I? No.
3 months.
This process requires patience. Everyone's story is different. So some people have occupation that if they apply today, they may get nomination the following day. While some occupation, if you apply today, it may take you like another 2 months or 3 months to even get nominated because of your occupation. So sometimes it's all dependent on different factors. One, occupation, which is the major factor, will determine how fast you get nomination. I know someone that did nominated cabinet making.
Yeah.
So he's a cabinet maker. So and he even has a degree, but he said his story, very interesting story. I'll just mention it briefly. He did a course. He said he couldn't get into Unilag. For people who are Nigerians who understand, who know Unilag. He said he couldn't get into Unilag. So his parents said he should go to, I think, the technical college in Akoka to go and study. So he studied cabinet making. And after he finished the diploma, he went to Unilag, did his degree and everything. Down the line, he worked as well because he had experience. He was doing the cabinet making on the side and he was still working. So, and this opportunity came. He assessed as a cabinet maker. He applied, and in like a week or so, he got nomination because they don't really have too many people who apply for cabinet making. So when they see applications like that, like they jump on it immediately. Yeah. So he got nominated very fast, whereas some people have been waiting for about 2 years or even 6 months. They've not gotten nomination. So it depends on the occupation, then your total points as well. So if your total points, if they're comparing you, maybe egg and egg together, we are comparing apples and apples. Okay, this person has 60 points, this person has 60 points, but this person has a better, maybe English score or a lower English. So they do all those comparisons just to see who they nominate first. But thankfully, that has been really better this year because of the new government. They've added about 35,000 more spaces for nomination. So states have been playing around with different nominating people as well. So the process usually takes, I would say now that so many people are coming in, the process may take at least a minimum of 6 months. So first thing is assessment. Assessment takes about 2 months to 5 months to get an assessment. First of all, when you even identify the occupation you want to nominate, for you to gather your document, it may take you like 2 weeks or so. When you gather those documents, you have about 2 to 5 months to get a positive result, to get an assessment, depending on your occupation. Because some occupation, they have fast track. So if you have money, you want to pay for fast track, you can pay extra money to do fast track. If you don't have and you want to wait for normal processing, it may take you 4 months instead of maybe 2 days or 5 days. So there are different processes. So, and you can't compare yourself to another person because they may have different occupation, they have different assessing body. So you need to just follow your own timeline. Then you apply for a nomination to all the states, whichever states nominate you. So depend on when the state decides to start nominating people. So you may submit your nomination today, and the states decide to nominate people on Monday, which is the following day.
Yeah.
And you are nominated. Meanwhile, someone has maybe gotten their result maybe 4 months before you, and the state has not nominated in 4 months, but decide to nominate a day before. So that means to you are lucky because you only waited about 24 hours, while someone has been waiting for 4 months. So it all depends on the timing. And at the same time, then after that, when you get nominated, you usually have 60 days to apply for visa. So if you are ready and in 2 days after you get a nomination, you apply straight up, good. And your visa as well now has timeline. So each visa has processing timeline. We call it processing timeline. So 189, for example, you remember I mentioned the 3 visas, 189, 190, and 491. So they have different timelines. So if you're on 189 and the timeline says maybe 6 months, for example, you may get yours within 6 months, or you may get it after 6 months. If you get it after 6 months, you may be in one of the 10% that has a longer period. So there are processing times for each of the visas. So I know someone that applied, like by the time I even applied for visa, I has not even thought about Australia and still got visa before me. So so it's possible you get out a lot. So they're trying to work on a system where it's like first in and first out, but sometimes it doesn't work like that, because even if you come in and they try to do your assessment and they realize that you have missing documents, it takes you back to the queue and stuff like that. So the timeline could be between 6 months to 12 months, or it could be more than that as well. So I know someone that got in 6 days. I got visa in 6 days. So, but they waited a while to get nomination as well. Their visa came out in 6 days. While their nomination comes out faster, but visa comes late. So there is no specifics. I can't say, I can tell you can get it in 6 months and you get it in 4 months. And I can tell you get it in 6 months and get it 12 months after. So you just need to understand that the process there is a timeline for each of those areas. So you just have to figure out what works for you and just keep your mind off it when you apply, so that you don't get high blood pressure or anything. As long as your documents are correct and you're okay, fantastic. At least you know you will get it one day. So now moving on to the last question, which is the cost. It's not cheap, but anyways, I can always tell people cost is relative. Some people, maybe a $4,000 is small money to them, some it's a lot of money.
It's big money.
So you need to understand your cost and take it one step at a time. Don't stress yourself over it. So usually the assessment is based on your assessing authority. So some are very cheap and some are very expensive. For example, if you're a pharmacist and you want to go and assess as a pharmacist, I think the first process is about $1,200. Then you have to write an exam, it's about $2,000 plus. So meanwhile, someone who is a pharmacy technician will only need to pay like $962 for the assessment, and they are done and they can apply for nomination. So the amount ranges between $600 to $1,500, depending on your occupation or the assessing authority you are going for. Because some occupation have like multiple people that can assess that occupation. So you have an occupation and you can have like 3 assessing authorities that can do the assessment. So you can go with the one that maybe has a cheaper cost or maybe a faster timeline to get your results to you. So you weigh those options. And that is why I said some people feel like it's really complicated, but sincerely, after a while, you get used to those terminologies and you know which one is easier for you. So, and because I've also done this over time for over 4 years with people, I understand, I'll tell you, this is a better option for you. This one don't go with them, go with this one, and stuff like that. So we can advise on or give you a guide on the best way to go about it. So the cost, so assessment is the first thing. English test is up to you, whichever English test you want to do. I think English test in Nigeria is about between 75 to 80,000 per exam. So IELTS or PT, whichever one you decide to go for. As long as just make sure you prepare before you go for the assessment, is going to be paid in dollars, and it's paid in Australian dollars. We don't use USD or any other dollars. It's Australian dollars, AUD.
Yeah.
So between 600 to 1,500, depending on your assessing authority or their process. Some of them also have fast track option, which means you pay additional money. So, but if you don't have that money, just go with the normal one. After that, you go to skill select to express your interest to any of the states. That one is done free of charge. But when you get nominated by a state and they ask you to apply to the state, the state asks you to apply to them, they ask you to pay. So it's between 300 and 800. I think only one state charges 800. The other states charge about $300. So while some, I think one of the states is still free as well. So some states they still do it for free. So you can, whichever one you go for. So between $300 to $800. After that, when you now get that, the next stage will be to apply for visa. This is where the bulk of money comes from. So a single person or a single applicant pays $4,240 as at now. So the figure might change later, but as of now, is about 4,240 Australian dollars, which is roughly about 1 million per person for one single person. If you are married, for example, with your partner pays half of what you pay. So if the single applicant pays, if the primary applicant pays 4,240, the secondary applicants will pay 2,220. I can't remember the division. It's divided by 2. So you pay 50% of that. If you have kids, the kids will pay half of what your spouse is paying as well. So for example, if you're a family of 4, so husband, wife, or partner, depending on the composition of your family. So if you have the primary applicant and the secondary applicant, and you have 2 kids, that is about $8,480 Australian dollars. Yes, so that is the figure, because that means 4,240 for the primary applicant, 2020 or 2120 for the secondary, then 1,060 times 2 for the 2 kids.
Yeah.
If you're pregnant, fantastic. During the application and you're pregnant, if you have the baby while your application is still being processed, you don't pay for the new baby, it's free. But if your baby comes after your visa has been concluded, your baby will pay full money as a single person. So when you start the process, you need to also start adjusting how you want to go about it. You want to have a baby now, you want to come to Australia and have that baby. So that's a discussion that you would have with your partner. Of course, then you do medicals. Medicals is between 41,000 naira per person, and depending on the hospital. So people usually use IOM. IOM is cheaper. That's International Organization for Migration. They're in Abuja and Lagos. In Isaac John in GRA Keja. So people go for that, which is about 41,000 or 46K or so per person. There's another hospital in Lagos as well, in Victoria Island. That one is expensive but faster because it's not cheap. So you don't really have people go there. So you can get your medical stuff done like in a few hours after you get your nomination. So by the other one, you may have to wait for a while to get the medical spot or slot. So it all depends on your pocket. I think the other thing would be biometrics. If you are going for the work visa, you need biometrics, but permanent residents don't need biometrics. Those are the major costs: just assessment, English test, medicals, visa fee, and then when you get your visa, you figure out how you want to come to Australia, which is the best part. I think I also want to mention this. If you don't have enough money and you want to do your application first and maybe get your family to join you later, you can do that. There are 2 options. You have option 1, apply for yourself only, get your family, when you land in Australia, and after you have landed and you have enough money, plan for your family to join you. That's option 1. Option 2 is you apply together, pay all the money, look for all the money, sell all the things you need to sell, pay for that visa, apply as once because it's cheaper, pay. Then when you get the visa, all of you will not move at the same time. So maybe someone moves first, make a bit of money before you join. But because you already have your visa, you can join anytime. So it's easier instead of waiting to apply for a visa. So you already have your visa, you just need to move when you have enough money. So that's the second option. I usually tell people to go with the second option because the first option can cost you more. Because if you have paid as a primary applicant, you're saying 4,240. When you land and you now want to pay for your partner to join you and your kid and the kids, your partner will pay the full amount because on that application they are the primary applicants now, so they will pay 4,240 instead of half of what they should be paying. So you have to consider your cost and your pocket as well. So those are generally the figure or the amount that you would naturally pay for this process. So, and the best part is you don't pay them at once. So assessment first takes maybe another 5 months. Get nomination. If you are lucky and your nomination comes maybe 6 months after, that means it gives you another time to also save. But if it comes immediately, that means you have less time you have 60 days to gather the money and pay. So depends on the process or whatever process you're going with. So don't stress yourself. Not every one of us had the money when we started as well, but here we are. We still got that money and we paid and we moved as well. So, and when you get your visa, you usually have 12 months to move to Australia. So, depends on you. So, if you want to move, if you want to buy tickets
immediately, no problem.
It's up to you. Within 12 months, you can move to Australia. So, you can space yourself, maybe make an additional 6 months, work for an extra 6 months to make money, or some people even come over to Australia, sign in, like just we call it soft landing. You probably would have heard that before. Soft landing, come in, then go back again, maybe continue their work. So it depends on the visa as well. So if you're a PR, of course you can do that, come back. If you're on work visa, maybe just come in once and stuff like that. So it's there are myriads of options. I just have to calculate. We'll give you those options on what is the best method for you. Then you give you the options, then you decide yourself what you want to go for. Yeah,
thank you very much. You really told us all the things we need to know for anyone that wants to move to Australia. Thank you very much, ATM. You've really answered a lot of questions here. And one thing I want to ask again is there a way you help people, maybe guide them on this process and they can pay for your service and all that? So if there is something like that you do, please let the audience know, because I've been getting a lot of people asking, oh, can I get someone to help me, at least step-by-step process and all that? So they will be happy to know.
Okay, thank you so much. So what I do is I'm not a qualified agent yet. I'm still in school for that. So I won't call myself an agent or a
I'm not an agent to me.
Call it in Australia. But I guide people during the process. So if you need someone, I understand the process, and I have people that I work with as well. So I understand the process. But what I would tell people is I don't do any other visa. I only work with skilled migration because that is my forte, and I've been doing this for 4 years. I can guide you on the process, do a profile assessment for you, tell you what to do, and show you how you can do them. And if you want me to even do them on your behalf, fantastic. Of course, I charge people for that, which is fine. And you can, but of course, I would not use the word agent or Mara agent. But if you need someone that can guide you on the process, I can. So, and I think I can do a profile assessment, just tell you if you're eligible or not, which is, I think this is where where I get most of the people from. Then people can decide, oh, okay, this is not the best option for me. Maybe I should try UK or try student visa and stuff like that. I will give you links on where you can read about them. But if you need this skilled migration, if you need a guide, I can do that at a fee as well for you. So yeah.
Okay, that's good to know. Like we said before, I'll be leaving his email address. You can contact him for any inquiries, and I'm sure he would respond to you. So thank you very much. Do you want to give us anything else you want to share with our audience?
So I think this is something I usually tell people is if it's something that you want, go for it. Of course, we'll be hearing about Jackpot.
Yes.
Think about it very well, because it's not going to be the same. You've lived in your country, for example, you have lived in Nigeria for maybe 25, 30, 40 years. Moving to a new country, it's a different ball game. So know that you want it, and stick to it. I would say, to me, it's one of the best decisions I've ever made in my entire life. And I have not regretted it a bit that I moved to this country. And I like that it's a hidden gem. People don't really get to know. Like, oh, when you talk to people in Nigeria, like, it's very far. Of course, it's the same hours that they will take you to Canada, that will take you to Australia. So this place is fantastic. You get great jobs that you can do. You have the experience is totally different. You would love it. I can bet it. You would like it here. However, it requires you doing your work as well. So understand, and even if people guide you, you also still need to do your own research so that you can even ask more questions. Because the more questions you ask, the more opportunities, the more answers you get, and you're able to make a much more better informed decision. So never rest. If you are ready to jackpot, we're happy to receive you here. We need a lot of Nigerians here. So
yes.
Good luck, everyone, and hope to see you soon in Australia.
Thank you. Thank you so much. I really appreciate this. So, guys, you've heard it all. Leave your comments in the comment section, and he will be seeing it. Trust me, he will be seeing it. And for any inquiries, please get in touch with him, and he will help you out. So, thank you for watching, and we'll see you guys in my next video. Bye.